Hello, welcome to another one of my videos. Remember to like and subscribe if you do like this content. Today we're going to talk about Kansas City and how they got to this point. Super Bowl this year is the Eagles versus the Chiefs, but how exactly did we get to this point? We will recap what happened this year and what led to this matchup. If we're talking about the Chiefs, we must talk about the big offseason trade. For a first, a second, two fourths, and a fifth, the Miami Dolphins were able to obtain deep threat and fastest wide receiver in the NFL, Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs. This was one of the many blockbuster trades made by the Miami Dolphins this year, and what people would call a regression for the best QB in the league. Many were wondering how this would affect his production. Well, now we can say that not at all, with the Chiefs retaining their points per total drive from last year and Mahomes being a league leader in both yards and touchdowns scored in the air. A big part of this was not losing big tight end Travis Kelce and adding more wide receivers to the roster in offseason's moves for the Steelers' Juju Smith-Schuster and the Green Bay Packers' MVS. However, we cannot overlook that Mahomes has been targeting plenty of receivers throughout the season, some even having key moments. In the draft, the Kansas City Chiefs also added plenty of defensive weapons, including first-rounder Karlaftis and the rookie cornerback combination of Williams and Watson. Also adding offensive weapons Sky Moore and Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco would be the leading rusher, with Sky mostly doing punt returns and getting really hype when catching any ball. This is great to see in the offseason. With all these weapons coming together, we are ready for a championship team. To start the season, however, the Bills were seen as the favorites of the AFC to win the Super Bowl as they had a super team being led by Josh Allen. This in part because Mahomes has lost his favorite weapon and had to learn a completely different style of football. Shorter passes. Also, scoring would not be as spontaneous as before. The first game the Chiefs played, Mahomes proved to doubters he could execute the style of play, scoring 44 points against the Arizona Cardinals. However, there were hiccups along the way. Mahomes could not execute this style of football well against the Colts, turning over the ball in a key scenario. He did easily get over the loss and continued to breeze through the season, clinching the first seed, only losing to Buffalo and the Bengals. All losses coming extremely close, with Buffalo only winning 4 points ahead and that being their biggest loss. To start the playoffs, the Chiefs had to face off against the Jaguars, who were 8-2 in their last 10 games and had one of the greatest comebacks in playoff history the week prior. Mahomes would get injured and have to sit out a drive in the game. This drive was a 12-play, 93-yard touchdown led by backup quarterback Shad Henne. Henne had not seen significant play in about a year prior. This drive solidified a KC lead that would hold out until the end of the game. The championship game was played against the Bengals. Burrow had beat Mahomes 3-0 in the matchups prior. The Bengals were also the hottest team in football with a 10-game, possibly 11-game winning streak prior to the matchup. Not only that, but Mahomes had to deal with a high ankle sprain suffered the week prior. During the matchup, not only did Mahomes have to deal with being injured, but he also lost key wide receivers Juju Smith-Schuster, Kadarius Tooney, and McCole Hardman, all during the game. With only three active wide receivers in the lineup and having to use a backup tight end in many plays, the Kansas City drive stalled out and it did not allow them to get ahead. Pirine was able to tie up the game at 20 in the fourth quarter with a 2-yard rush. With very little time left and a huge punt return from Sky Moore, Mahomes was able to take the Chiefs to field goal position from their own 47 with the help of a late tackle from Osai, winning the game 23-20. Now they go up against an Eagle team that faced little to no competition to get to the same place.